Hey, Goddess. Welcome to our podcast. We are Wendy Lou and Angie K, two goddesses on a journey of awakening and embodiment together, traveling hand in hand through the trials and tribulations of this roller coaster ride we call spiritual awakening and ascension.
It was only a matter of time before we started our own podcast to share what we've learned along the way as energy practitioners and spiritual entrepreneurs.
Join us twice a month as we explore metaphysical topics, spiritual awakening, collective energy updates, spiritual entrepreneurship, the divine feminine and divine masculine, and all things goddess.
Our vision and mission is to provide a safe space to express the unspoken topics of awakening the divine feminine. Our desire is to heal the generations of shame, secrecy, and illusion that have shrouded the divine feminine teachings. So we hope you join us here on our podcast. Go for it.
Hey, Goddess. Welcome to this episode of the Hey Goddess podcast, where we are going to discuss the fall equinox coming up 2025. And there are two eclipses coming up. So, Wendy and I are going to tune in for you around the energy of what's coming for the fall 2025 equinox and beyond. So, stay tuned. You're going to want to hear all of this.
Oh my goodness. And we already, as we do, we start talking before we hit record. And they were like, don't let all the gold out without recording. So then we're like, okay, we'll talk about all this. We'll talk about all this. So we tune in. Yeah. And can I talk about I guess I can talk about what I
Yeah,
was seeing
tell us.
as I've been doing. I play on TikTok a little bit and I've been doing just the zodiac signs readings for September. And an image that I saw for after the equinox, which is the 22nd, if anybody's wondering, of September. And so the image I saw was people, a more calm energy, was everybody kind of taking time out and taking time away. And I saw the image that I saw was like couples holding hands walking through a park with the autumn leaves and families playing in the park. It's like but that's after the equinox, right? And so before that, we have two eclipses. Like it's just September's going to be really kind of off the hook, if you know what I mean. Like I believe the first 3 weeks are going to be incredibly transformational. The first eclipse is what do we say, a lunar eclipse on the 7th. And then exactly 2 weeks later, obviously when the moon is back, it's a partial solar eclipse. And so even pulling cards for like these zodiac readings, I was getting cards with eclipses on them, which was crazy. And I didn't even know they were there in this deck, right? And so it's really, the eclipses are really kind of the star of the show in September. And then that second one on the 21st launches us right into the equinox and this new energy of more calm. And so I do feel like, and in fact, I can show the card. Well, I can talk about the card. I know we're only on video on YouTube, but I can show it on YouTube. But I can talk about this card that I pulled. We both pulled cards. And I pulled Ragnarok, which is, in our kind of modern terms is apocalypse, right? But as we know now, apocalypse does not mean the end of the world. It literally means big change. It literally means transformation. And so the card, if you're on YouTube, you can see it, is this fiery redhead she almost looks like she's made of fire. And then behind her is a forest burning. And so if you think, and the message is, she's number 11, first of all, which is a beautiful divine number, right? Master number. But the messages are destruction, ending, final moment. And that is what I'm feeling for this equinox. And if you think about it too, forest fires, as horrific and dramatic as they can be, and taking homes away from animals and everything, ultimately it's as long as it's like the naturally occurring ones, right, are very good for the land. They're very good for the soil. And it's Gaia's way of kind of regenerating that part of the planet when these things happen. Okay. And so, yeah, I'm seeing a very positive, it's going to be possibly very intense leading up to the equinox, but then it's going to be worth it, right? This transformation is going to be so worth it. I feel like collectively we're going to take a big sigh of relief afterwards. So let's talk about what you pulled too, because there's a lot going on here.
I love that. I'm ready. Like, can we have this sigh of relief,
Right?
please? Because
Yes.
I feel
Yeah.
like it's
We're
just
almost
been,
there.
I mean, in you too, since summer solstice and then Lionsgate, it was really full on. And that's why we were making so many
Seriously.
energy update videos because so many people were feeling like this really full on, really. And I love how you said it was like, it's like a really transformational energy where all of these things, and I think we channeled this for summer, all of these things that we've creatively been working on have hit their place where they're like, okay, incubation time is over, turkey's done, like whatever you want to say, like this needs to come out. And so I feel like that created, anywhere where there was resistance in our field to, I mean, because of course, anytime we're about to release something that feels like our baby, then there's resistance.
Hmm.
Like, well, what will people think? Or it's not ready yet. And then you can end up circling around
Who will
waiting a
I
whole
be
nother
when I'm
year for,
not
yeah, a whole nother
right?
year for it to be ready, which it's never,
Yeah.
it's never perfect, right? I mean, that's the whole point of when we release our creation or our innovative idea or something to the world. There's always going to be critics, there's always going to be skeptics, and we're usually the
Always.
worst one. So it's like if we can get over our own inner critic, is what I'm getting right now, then I mean, this is really the time. There's things in you. I mean, just think right now, if you're listening, just think like there's things in you that are ready to be born that you've worked on and incubated and nurtured for a really long time that are ready to come out into the world. It could be a concept. You could be looking for a business partner, a collaborator, or something,
Hmm.
someone that can help you in a way that you don't have the skill to bring something forward. And this could be the time, like when that person is going to drop in or that opportunity seize it, is what I'm getting.
Right.
And I
Yep.
know
Seize the day.
yeah,
Yeah.
seize it. And that could create a little bit of upheaval because it's meant to push you to do the thing that you know is the next right aligned action step that you might be resisting. So that's what I'm getting. The message is seize the day, like you said, like seize the
Yeah.
moment and step into it. Step into this thing that you know is the next phase because it's ready and waiting for you. And then that probably, I love what you were saying about there's like a relaxed energy after that, because I think that creates a peak energy. And I think that is the
Hmm.
eclipse, and anything that needs to be revealed, of course, happens during eclipses. And we have those eureka moments, the aha, the, flux capacitor moment, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And then we're like, oh my gosh, I see it clearly. And sometimes it can be like, wow, I see it clearly. Oh, right? So
Two
either
very
way,
different energies.
either
Yeah.
different tone, right? Different tone of voice there. So it can be, it's just revealing. None of and if we just look at it all with neutrality, it's like, okay, great. Like
Hmm.
this is continuing. All of these things are placed in my life to continue to keep me on the path of what I'm here to do and what I'm here to create and what I truly desire. And so it just keeps aligning you. Whether it's a,
Hmm.
oh, yay, amazing eureka moment, or it's a, oh, yeah, I see that. So either way,
Yeah. Yes. Either way,
it's
it's
all,
launching you forward.
and that's the eclipse. And then that's refining this thing that you're meant to bring out there. And I'm sure a lot of you listening are resonating saying, yeah, I have been sitting on that. I have been stalled. I haven't put that thing out there. I do have one more chapter to write of that book and then get it over to Wendy for editing, right? And by the
Thank you.
way, yeah, if you don't
Yes.
know, Wendy's an amazing
Info in the
editor. She
description.
edited my last book for me, which I love. Got a CEO. She was the chief editor of. So anyway, just wanted to put that out there for those of you that have that
Thank you.
one chapter left to write.
Yes.
So that's what I'm seeing. It's an energy of like you've done this. Now don't get stuck in the part like if you think of a garden, it's like you have to plant it and then you have to nurture the heck out of it, right? I mean, that middle part
Hmm.
is where you can lose all the plants, right? But then don't give up right when you're about to harvest. Don't just say, "Oh my gosh,
Or
it's too much."
forget about it, right? Get
Yeah, it's too much
distracted.
work. Yeah,
Yeah.
I went out of town and now my plants don't
Yeah.
look as healthy, so I'm just going to give up. Don't give up, right? Like take that last push so that you can really get it
Right.
out there. Because then, of course, like you're going to be rewarded. Any time that you're doing the thing, the hard thing, eventually it all comes in and you reap the benefits and rewards. And it can feel like, I don't know if any of you have ever heard that story, but like there's a story of a farmer and he plants the seeds and doesn't have a yield for like, there's like 6 years go by. And then all of a sudden, like every seed that was planted, like everything that was ever done, like comes to fruition at once, and it's after like 6 years or something. I heard
Hmm.
this story a long time ago, but I think it's relevant to like what we all sometimes experience along the way of being a conscious creator and, knowing what we want to create. But then it's like we're constantly going back, tilling the soil again, tilling, revisiting, revisiting, revisiting. It's like, when does the harvest come? But I see so many of you so close to that. Like, it's like the message is
Yeah.
don't give up. And even if that means like you're taking a break, like take your time, take a break, that's fine. But just know, but don't give up right now.
Yeah, yeah, have the plan at least in place,
Yeah.
right? And if you think about it too, it's like 6 years, even if whatever the actual story is, but the 6 years, I know why that came to you because you think about how many of us have been creating the last 6 years. Like, let's think about where we were 6 years ago,
Hmm.
right? Coming into an unprecedented time on this planet where we had a lot more time on our hands to be in our own heads, right? For the most part. And so, another message that I've been getting too for this equinox is that more people are going to be going into that void space, right? That creation space, which is that center of more people are going to be learning how to tap into that, and that's where we create. And so, like you were saying, you don't. For a lot of you, it's ready. You don't want that. The bigger that baby gets, the harder it is to birth it. I promise you. The bigger. I mean, if you ever had an overdue kid, you know, but it takes a while and it hurts more. So you don't want it to be a 15-pound baby. For a lot of you, it's ready. It's ready to come out and it's healthy and it's going to thrive. But like you said, I love that analogy because I like you could take it literally and symbolically, right? But that garden, a lot of times we'll nurture something too where it's ready to be released into the world and then we just let it die. It's like, why would you like for me, like I'm currently like I finished my first nonfiction book about parenting and my spiritual journey. And if I just the book is done, essentially, the first draft is done. And if I just sat on it, then I would be doing that. I would be letting this amazing opportunity. I put all the work in already. I put all the work in. All the next step is to put it out into the world. And so I'm not going to sit on it, right? It's currently being proofread by I don't know which
Hmm.
side you're going to be on. I never know by this
Yep.
beautiful
You got
goddess.
it.
And yeah, and then whatever, however, I'm figuring that out now, right? Like I'm not just going to sit on it. And perfect alignment with this energy, true too. So don't let that baby get too big. For so many of you, it's ready to go. And I know people are listening, going, they're not
Hmm.
wrong. I've been
Yep.
working on this for years, or I've been wanting to create this for years, or maybe it's something you actually started even a decade ago and just kind of put aside, right? And
Right.
now it's time to just wrap up those final loose ends and it's ready. So come, the end of September, I feel like the first 3 weeks are going to really push us to kind of finish those last few little minor steps, right? Like I've got decisions to make on how I'm going to put my book out to the world. So finish those last little steps. But for most of you, you've already done all the hard work. So time to go, time to really put it out there. And Angie and I like to say too, it's like when you keep your gifts to yourself, it's very selfish because someone out there is waiting for your medicine, for your magic, for your unique message, right? Your struggle that you have overcome and come to, gone through to the other side and come out and now you're thriving is somebody else's inspiration to do the same thing. So don't sit on your magic anymore.
Yeah. That is so true. Yeah. Thank you. Yep.
What else? So yeah,
Stop
this
sitting on your
equinoxes.
magic. Second message.
Yeah, there
Two,
you
don't
go.
give up on the thing that you put all the work into. You could just be
Right.
right there. And honestly, I will say, like on the entrepreneurial journey, and you too, Wendy, I'm sure you can relate to this. The time that you want to give up the most is right before the breakthrough because it's
Hmm.
so painful to move into that next identity that it takes for you. Sometimes, I shouldn't say every time, but it can be so painful to birth into that next identity. And I am speaking to myself right now as I say this and
Hmm.
anyone else that resonates because it's safer, it's more comfortable. You know how to be that prior version of yourself, right? But when
Right.
when you're about to up level, like you don't know, like, who are you going to be once you put Parenting Through Ascension out there? Like, suddenly you're an author of a nonfiction book, which you haven't been before. This is a
Hmm.
new identity. And so you can, like, any of us can relate to like coming to a screeching halt right before the success or the breakthrough comes. So a lot of times, so if you right now feel like you're in the meltdown phase, like I just want to quit everything, it's okay to say, I'm going to quit for a day. I'm going to quit for a week. It's fine. Let yourself have that moment.
Hmm.
One time I quit for 9 months. Wendy knows this story. I quit and wrote a book. That really wasn't
Hmm.
quitting, but I had to do it. Okay. But really, at the end of the day, you're not quitting. You're not giving up on your dream. But if you need to have that energy or that feeling of quitting for one day or one week or whatever it takes for you, I assigned myself 6 months. I think I allowed myself to quit. That's okay. But ultimately,
Hmm.
it's you're not actually going to quit on your dream. It is never going to be
No.
possible. It's going to
And
circle
some,
you back around over and over and
right.
over
Yeah.
again, and it will never stop doing that
And
ever.
sometimes we need to pan back, right, and be an observer.
Yeah.
Because I know for you too, it's like you kind of felt like whatever you had been doing just wasn't working the same anymore. Like you were doing fine, right? But
Hmm.
you wanted to expand and that old way wasn't working. And so you had to pan back, you had to pull back. And then taking that break to write the book was exactly what you needed to then come back and look at your business and go, now I know what to do, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's super important to take a step back and look at from that observer standpoint. And again, that's if you're wondering how to do that, go into your void space, right? Like go into that neutrality, go into that neutral space, and then just ask to see, okay, where is this not working? Where am I banging my head against the wall? Trying to do what the old me did, what worked for the old me. Well, if 2025, I mean, honestly, we can describe it in a lot of ways, right? But I would say the deaths of the former selves is like in the top five for sure. Like how many
Mhm.
deaths have we, how many funerals for our old selves have we gone to so far in the last 8 months? Like
Millions.
2025 has been huge. And so I feel like if you've got another one coming, September for sure. And I don't want to scare anybody. It's not necessarily a scary or a devastating experience. We're trying to give you the information to prepare you to surrender to it and to thrive through this, right? It's not about oh shit, batten down the hatches. I'm sorry, batten down the hatches and get ready for what's coming. It's more about oh okay, this is what's happening, and I'm going to ride those waves to the other side, and that way I'm more in a surrender and a receiving mode versus a resistance, right?
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think we know that sometimes when there is a huge shift happening, you do have to like completely step back and observe. And I think that was my experience with quitting, like you said,
Mhm.
was nothing was working. And as an entrepreneur, that can happen. I mean, even if you're not an entrepreneur, you can be in a job and suddenly nothing's working, and you have to kind of step back and reevaluate. So, yeah, that I think allowed that death of that identity to take place while I had stepped back. And then when I was able to move forward, I was able to take all the pieces of the new identity and really embody that versus still operating or operating from both at the same time. It was like a clean experience. So, yeah, I
Right.
think that can be beneficial. But,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to say but,
Yeah.
I'm going to say,
And
and the
right.
message is don't
Yeah.
don't give up before
Don't give up. And even
that's
literal, right?
worth
You think
it.
about childbirth, it's like the most painful part is right before the baby comes out.
Yeah.
You're almost there. You're almost there. It's so important to take that respite sometimes. And this is not going to be true for everybody. You may feel that fire. You may feel this Ragnarok fire under your butt really pushing you forward, and that's great too. But I think we're just trying to make everybody understand that we've both done it. We've both walked away and then come back. I had to walk away from my energy services as an energy practitioner for quite a while because I had to reevaluate everything. Because as the planet shifts, we have to shift, right? We have to shift and evolve and allow those upgrades to come in so that we can match the frequency that we're in on Gaia, right? and Gaia is only going to raise in vibration. And so, we talk about, and I tell my clients this all the time. It's like we used to talk about how, oh, when is the energy going to get better? It's not, you guys. It's not going to get better. We get better at navigating it. We get better at integrating it. We get better at feeling things coming and knowing how to manage and how to handle it versus, oh, I hope it goes, like that whole, return to normal. Well, normal is different every day. Every day we have a different normal, and really letting go of that term completely is kind of the key, right? The non-attachment to things, I think we're getting really good at this year is just going with the flow.
Yeah.
And so if you still find yourself resisting that, then that's what September, that's what these eclipses and this equinox, I'm telling you, I'm feeling that it's just going to be a really huge shift. Like a lot of people talking about, we're already on a new timeline thanks to the Lionsgate, right? Lionsgate shifted us collectively to a whole new timeline. And it's a good one, you guys. We've got nothing to worry about. Like it is a beautiful future laid out in front of us right now. And sure, there's always timelines coming in and integrating, but we shifted big time from the Lionsgate. And so now it's about integrating that new frequency, right? And okay, now what can we put out into the world? And so many people are ready to, and if you don't know, if you're doubting and you're listening to this, you have something that the world needs. You absolutely do. And somebody's waiting for it. So get it out there. I always say build it, sing it, dance it, create it, write it, speak it, whatever your medium is, it's time.
Yeah, it is. These fall eclipses, I just am having flashbacks of so many as you're talking. I just went through a Rolodex of fall eclipses and
Oh,
just all
goodness.
the things that shifted as a result. I remember
Because it's
one of
abundance
the
time,
book
right? It's
writing events was on an eclipse, and it was I think lunar, and it was such an intense week for everybody. I remember, I think it was when I wrote the first book. I
yeah.
know I wrote the second book in October as well, but I don't think that one was on an eclipse. So this one that
And
was
you
on
were
an
more in
eclipse,
that
people
container with the
were
other
the
writers with that first one.
yeah, and I was with the second one too. It's just that it was such, I mean, we were all so emotional. It was just a really emotional eclipse. I mean, it a lot of times like that emotion brings through so much creativity. I mean, that's the thing about if you can ride emotion, I mean, you can
Mhm.
bring through, you're able to touch things that no one else can touch, right? Like
Right. Yeah.
you're able to go somewhere that no one and bring back information from that place. Like it's like Persephone, right? I always think of that as like the Persephone.
Hmm.
Like you can go into the deep emotional world, gain something that no one else really could, not everybody, not, I shouldn't say no one, it's never no one, but that a lot of people aren't willing to go seeking that deep into the depth, right? And you can
Right.
bring that up and share it. And I mean, that was the great thing about that week because there were some really, really deep places that I went in that first book.
Right.
So I think, I mean, it all served, but I think ultimately, yeah, when they were saying that was a lot of emotion to
Yeah.
hold space for, we're not going to do it that week again.
Divine timing, though, right? But
Divine
yeah,
timing.
and that's a good point too, is that writing that first book for you was hugely transformational. And so when you came back then to look at your business, you were a different person. And that's exactly what needed to happen for you to be able to come back and look at it with fresh eyes and more higher vibrational eyes, right? And go, okay, now I know what needs to go and where I need to shift and where I need to maybe bring in brand new. It's all going to lead us to that, to being that new evolved self, right? I always say we step into the next higher self and the next higher self and the next, right? And our higher selves
Yeah.
just keep clicking over to the next higher and the next higher. But, when I saw those first 3 weeks of September, including those eclipses, right, are really it may seem, I'm hoping it feels like it goes fast because it is going to be intense. It is going to be transformational. It is going to really push us through. But then coming to that last week after the actual equinox, that's when we'll get that sigh, right? And that kind of relief because you've either done the steps you've committed and done the steps to putting your creation out there, or it's out there, right? And so you feel good about the momentum, or it's already out there. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of creators stepping into their purposes in September. And I was getting that across the board too, to just doing the fun readings for TikTok. I'm like, holy cow, everybody's getting messages of you're cracking the code of your life purpose in September.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's going to be
true.
cool.
And I love that. So that lunar eclipse is on the 7th to the 8th, is what it
Hmm.
said when we double
Depending on
checked.
where you live, I think, in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it must be like right on the cusp. And then I'm hosting an event on 9/9/2025,
Which is
which is
the day after.
999. Yeah, the
Yep.
day after. So we're harnessing that 999 completion energy doing the Divine Feminine Wealth Codes event. So that I think is super powerful. That whole portal, I mean, that whole window of time from, well, even the beginning of September, which
Hmm.
is even before the
Right
fall
around the
equinox, but
corner.
the lead in to the fall
Right.
equinox and then moving into the equinox is, yeah. So it's almost like what you're describing is the lead in is a little tumultuous. And
Right.
then we get in, and then there's like a resting, like a respite, like you said, once we get
Yeah.
past September. So maybe into October is what you're saying. Is
Right.
it's like a calming, soothing energy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and it's
And
all, and
we'll
like
have
you said,
earned it. Right.
surrender, I think is the perfect thing around eclipses because
Hmm.
what else can you do? They're just going to reveal to you whatever isn't going to serve you in your next evolution, your next higher self, like you said. So what can you do but accept?
Hmm. Embrace. Be in receiving mode, right? And what
Really,
the best way to get into receiving mode is to go into gratitude. And I
it
was
is.
just talking to a client about this the other day. It's like, okay, they'd had the rug pulled out from under them, right? And I feel like a lot of people are in that energy right now. It's like they feel like they're free falling, there's no foundation. As you're rebuilding that foundation, the key is gratitude. And so, how do you do that? Well, when you're in kind of the deepest, darkest pits, that's when you start to practice that, the reprogramming your subconscious to say things like, thank you for this opportunity to grow. I'm grateful. This is temporary, right? It's safe to be in my body and in this life, right? And to be grateful for everything that you see because gratitude begets gratitude, right? More things to be grateful for. And receiving allows you to receive more and in bigger ways. And we both say this a lot. It's like whatever you can imagine that you want, the universe wants 1,000 times better. And when we focus on, like, we had it right, when we're doing vision boards are great. And if that's your thing, that's great. The Secret and the Law of Attraction, they had the first pieces right, right? Like focus on what you want and, and, think about it all the time and you can create it. And that's great. But one piece that we're now discovering, right, in the last 10 years or whatever, is that really it's about focusing on how you want it to make you feel. Because if you're focusing on a specific car, and you get that specific car, a lot of times there's something about it, right, that goes wrong or whatever. Or a specific job. Oh, there's going to be something about it. Maybe not always, but what I'm saying is if you expand that and focus on how you want to feel once you have the car, no matter what it is, once you have the job, no matter what it is, then the universe goes, oh, he or she or they're ready. They're ready. I just saw them open up. They're ready. Let's give them what they really want, and they don't even know what that is, right? So being in receiving mode and, like you said, surrendering, getting in that receiving mode is going to be huge for to navigate. I don't want to say getting through the eclipses, but to navigate the eclipses and to not feel like you have zero control at all, right? But to just let it carry you into the equinox.
Yeah. You know what a fun process is? And I can't even remember where I picked this up. I feel like you and I had done it at one point in one of our groups or somewhere along the way. Wendy and I have been in a few together. So
It's
the
okay.
process was you just multiple times a day, whatever you're doing, whatever you're looking at, it can be anything, but you name, it could be talking to a person. And you just silently to yourself name everything you're grateful about that object you're interacting with or that person or that experience. So you could pick like 5 times a day, you could have an alarm go off on your phone and you just have to, whatever you're doing. It has to be that. So like if you're standing in front of the fridge, you're
Mm.
like, I am so grateful for refrigerators. Holy cow. Like I can go to the store and I can keep stuff cold for like certain things like salad dressing for a whole year. Holy
Yeah, yeah.
cow. It's mind blowing, right? So
Yes, it
it can be
is.
that silly as the
Yeah,
refrigerator.
or grateful
Your
for food in
car,
the fridge, right?
food's
That
in the
there's food in
fridge.
there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could be the person that you're talking to. Like I could do it right now in my mind about you. Name everything you're grateful about the experience, the object, or the situation, whatever it is that you're in. You could just have a little notification come off on your phone like 5 times a day, and you just have to stop.
Yeah.
Not
I
even
remember doing
stop.
this.
You
Yeah, I
could
don't
keep
remember
doing what
what
you're
group
doing.
we were in, but
You could keep
yeah.
doing what you're doing, but just
Yeah.
in your mind, start to list off and it does raise your frequency and vibration into receiving mode because then the universe is preparing you to receive more of what you're putting energy into, right? So if you're
Right.
saying all these things are so great, then you're on that frequency of receiving and everything is so great. Well, let's give you more great things.
Right.
And
Right. And a
it's
lot of
just
people,
a
I think,
matching energy.
exactly. And I think a lot of people get into that mindset of, well, if I'm, because I've heard people say this, well, if I am grateful for what I have, then that's all I'll have. And I think that's an old paradigm way of thinking. It's like you got to think, you got to expand a little bit in that thinking. If you are just purely in gratitude for your situation, then the universe, then you open up to be able to receive more. So it's not about, this is all I'm going to get. I guess I should be grateful. That's not true gratitude, right?
Yeah.
That's acceptance. That's giving up.
Yeah.
That's a totally different energy.
Scarcity.
That's staying in that box. Absolutely, scarcity and lack. That's staying in that lack, um, in that prison, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
So
and
very
the
different.
I think the point people are trying to get across when they're saying that is you need to be grateful already for your situation now before you're going to improve it. You have to be
Right.
grateful for
You
what you have
do.
now. And for some people that's very little, but to be grateful for just the little things right now. And then of course you can expand on that and receive more and more abundance just through gratitude. Yeah. Bank
Hmm.
and Grow Rich by Pam Grout is amazing for this. There's so many really I is one called The Magic? That could be wrong. Something like that. I think the book is called The Magic, and that one is about gratitude and different gratitude
Is that
processes.
big magic, are you thinking?
Not
No,
Big
different
Magic.
one.
I think it
I
was just
like that
called
one
The
too.
Magic.
The
Big Magic
magic.
is really
Okay.
good. I
I'll
think
have
it
to
was
look at
just
that one.
called The Magic, but I could be wrong. That was another one that I read around the same time that was just getting into
Okay.
that frequency of gratitude. It was right around the time of Pam Grout's Think and Grow Rich. And she does processes and activities in there, just like the one that I was naming, and they sound
Hmm.
cheesy, probably to anyone that, has used the law of attraction or manifestation processes. It
Right.
sounds so, it probably sounds so simple, but really, like the simplest things, the most uncomplicated, are actually
Hmm.
the truest. Really, when you
Right.
get down to it, because like, when you come into spiritual awakening, you go into all this really complicated information and stuff. And interestingly, as you move through the process, you sort of like you're immersed in the complication and you think everything's really complicated. And then you start to shed all the complication and you come out into the simplicity of how simple the whole thing actually is. And so going back to, if you're someone that has tried really complicated manifestation processes, just going back to the simple.
Hmm.
And maybe they weren't working for you recently, right? And so just go back to the simple, like gratitude. Like, how can you stay on the
Simplify it.
frequency of
Yeah.
gratitude multiple times a day? One time I had a terrible backache. I just one of those times like when you throw your back out randomly, like, pulling up a sheet or something stupid, right? And you're like, how is this
Yes.
even
Yes.
related? But it was
Yeah.
like the 9,000 other things leading up to it, the 9,000 stressors threw my
Hmm.
back out and I was doing one of those books at the time or those activities. I don't remember if I was in a challenge or a group or something. And I got on the frequency of gratitude. Within 2 days the back pain was completely gone.
Hmm.
And before I had started the process I had it for like a week or two. So I had no pain whatsoever in my body just getting on the frequency of gratitude because I raised my physical vibration and was maintaining it.
Hmm.
So even that, right? So
Right. It's
course, if
easier
you
than
have
we
some sort of
think.
pain, go and get it checked out. If you feel that you should get
Yes.
it checked out, I'm just saying this was a way, like just right out of the pain. That's it. Gone.
Yeah. And if you find yourself, I mean, and it works, it works. We're both living proof that these things work because we can cite a million examples, right, of the things that we've done. And, we can get caught up in the mind, right? We can hold on to things in the mind. So if you find that you're in a place where, oh, things are overwhelming you or you feel like it's a complicated process, then try to get out of the mind and into the heart. And that's where you find the simplification of all the processes. That's where you remember, a lot of times I'll be overwhelmed and I'll message Angie and she'll say, well, just do this. And the most basic, right, that I maybe learned 12 years ago that I just totally forgot. And so sometimes a little reminder too, but go back to the simpler things because ultimately this is the point is trying to, like you said, we're removing the complication from the human experience slowly, right? Slowly and surely. We're removing the things that overwhelm us and that make things just futile efforts and make things not really worth the effort because there are simpler ways. And that's one of the things that we talk about this Christ consciousness bringing this in is that's the goal is to simplify this life and not have it be such a big stress, a stressful experience for everybody. We want it to be more like I'm seeing the end of, after the equinox, we want it to be more that calm, like that visual of, just families playing in the park and couples holding hands and walking through the park and autumn leaves. Like this is the time to reap the harvest, right? This is the time for abundance. And so it could not be more perfect, right? That obviously the cosmos knows when to throw us eclipses and equinoxes and everything. And so we're coming into this beautiful time of where we are going to, yes, September may feel intense and may feel like work a little bit, but you're going to be motivated to do it, right? Like you're
Yeah.
going to be like, oh, I'm going to get this done today and I'm going to get that done today. But it doesn't have to be complicated. It can just be doing aligned action. Like Angie talks about, you talk about this all the time. Take aligned action every day and you're moving towards your goal. And then you're going to reap the benefits of it after the equinox, because that's when we get to go, okay, I did it. I did it. And I get to take a little break. And it's not even a break to like reevaluate. It's just a break to enjoy the things you've created. That's what I'm
Yeah.
seeing for the end.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Let's have that. I think that's a good wrap up.
Let's have that. Let's
Let's
claim that right
enjoy.
now.
Let's be in the energy of enjoyment. Yeah. And let us know if you try any of the gratitude processes. Throw us a comment and let us know how it goes for
Right.
you.
And that timer thing too is a perfect way to build that foundation of gratitude. If you feel like everything's been pulled out from under you and you're needing to create that new foundation, that new soft place to fall, I call it, is that foundation of gratitude. It's not cement. It's like a big comfy couch that you can fall onto.
Yeah,
So you just
exactly.
gotta,
It's
it has to be
squishy.
an intentional thing. It has to be intentional. It's time. It's time to be an intentional participant in your spiritual awakening. So here we go.
Yes, here we go. All right. Well, let's stop it there. And if you want to find
Mhm.
out more about Wendy's services or my services, you can check the description below. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye, Goddess.
Bye, goddess.